Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence and acknowledge our troops across the seas.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Law have been satisfied concerning this meeting. The Home News Tribune and the Star Ledger posted the notice on December 7, 2018, as well as posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building. It should be so noted in the minutes of this meeting. Council President Meehan.
Here.
Council Vice President Spiller.
Here.
Councilwoman Drum.
Here.
Councilman Bauer.
Here.
Councilman Patel.
Here.
Councilman Ficara.
Here.
Councilman Anderson. Councilman De Jesus.
Here.
Councilman Small.
Here.
Mr. Wilferman.
New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted as follows. November 21st, 2018, emailed to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Municipal Clerk's Office, posted in the Abbott Middle School and the Board of Education Administration Building, and on the school district website. Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Delapietro?
Here.
Mr. Harris?
Here.
Mr. Molnar?
Here.
Mr. Velez?
Here.
And Mr. Treebwasser.
Here. Thank you, Mr. Wilferman. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public portion of this meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public portion of this meeting is now open. Please be reminded that you have a 5-minute limit. I'll be going by the clock to my right. If anybody comes to the microphone, please state your name and the town where you reside.
Good evening, Tom Maris, Forest, New Jersey. As far as the open session is, how long will that last? Or in other words, how long can the public stay after you close the public meeting portion?
There's not going to be an executive session.
There's not an executive session. You can stay.
Okay. So it's just, this is the time to speak now.
That's correct.
And then that's it for the public.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments from the public? Here are no other comments from the public. Can I get a motion to close the public portion of this meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The agenda has been put in front of everybody's seat, as well as the seat for the public. Dr. Zaig, at this time, if I can ask you to present the items on your agenda for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Mitch. I'd like to highlight some things that have been going on in the school district as we started our 2018 school year. Both the Ross Street project and the Woodbridge Middle School project are fully underway. Reports are that they are on schedule. We expect the Ross Street construction to be habitable for September 2019, according to our architect and our contractors, as well as Woodbridge Middle School. We expect the new addition at Woodbridge Middle to be habitable by September 2019. Then we can begin phase 2 on both projects. Ross Street, we will knock down the existing Ross Street School and put in the next phase, which would be an auditorium and some additional classrooms. Woodbridge Middle, the second phase would be adding doing some cosmetic work on the existing building and renovating some rooms there, including several state-of-the-art science classrooms at Woodbridge Middle School. Full-day kindergarten is also underway. We have approximately 1,096 full-time kindergarten students enrolled in our district for the first time ever. Reports that we have, they are adjusting very quickly to the full-day kindergarten. We have some students who are unique to the experience of being in school the whole day and having lunch the whole day and being with up to 24 of their fellow classmates, but the teachers report that the amount of progress that has been made since September 1st until now is really, really great and much greater than it would have been had we had half-day kindergarten still. So We won't expect to really realize the fruits of our endeavor here until next year when these students arrive in first grade and are full. We expect them to be well beyond the maturity and social level and the academic level that our first graders were experiencing only half-day kindergarten. So the reports from full-day kindergarten are very, very promising. Our student population, as far as the redevelopment, right now we have 22 students total from the Arts Village. That's in grades K to 12. And we have 2 students from the Grand project that is over by Ronson Road. So as we anticipated, we don't have many students coming from these areas. So we're happy about that. And then finally, I'd like to highlight a one-to-one Chromebook initiative that we have in our high schools. This September, we distributed a brand new Chromebook to every high school student. 3,000 brand new Chromebooks were purchased by the district. We were able to purchase these 3,000 Chromebooks because we didn't have to pay for our fields, and we didn't have to pay for our auditoriums, and we didn't have to pay for our scoreboards and things like that. All the things that were accomplished through the partnership with the town and the school freed up this money that enabled us to start this one-to-one initiative. So now every high school student, grade 9 through 12, has a Chromebook. Every 8th grader has an iPad. We're moving, in addition to having our students each have a device, a district-owned device, we're also taking on the major endeavor of moving all of our curriculum to digital curriculum. We no longer have the big curriculum binders in these grades, or actually we're moving toward that. Removing all those big curriculum binders and pages and pages and pages, and when they're updated, we have to reprint everything. Everything is digital, everything is online, everything is accessible to the teachers from home, from school. And when we have to make an upgrade, when we have to revitalize our curriculum, it's very easy. It's done online once, and everyone has access to it. So it makes sense, and I have to thank John Bader. He was the driving force behind the Chromebook initiative. It was his idea to get this off the ground. We say that for this to be successful, we need 3 parts. We need the devices, we need the digital curriculum, and we need the professional development for our teachers. And we've been able to provide that. We could not have provided any of that if we were paying for field maintenance and we were paying for the Woodbridge High School stadium and the Woodbridge High School softball fields and the Colonia High School turf and things like that. So we're thankful to the Board of Education and President Treewasser. We're thankful to the Mayor McCormick for this partnership, because 3 years ago when this all began, we said that if the school didn't have to pay for the facilities, then we could funnel money to technology and to curriculum, and that we're doing. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zaga. Mayor McCormick.
Thank you, and congratulations to the board and to Dr. Zaga for the success. This is working out exactly as we thought it would, and we're thrilled to be your partner with this. Just picking up on the student enrollment, back 12 years ago when we first got here, the enrollment was 13,444. Right now it's slightly up at 13,710, but you have to subtract the kindergarten because there's a whole additional grade in there. At the time I got these numbers, there was 1,023. Now you say there's 1,090. What that basically means is that in the last 12 years, there's 757 less students in the district than there was 12 years ago when many of us took office here for the first time. If you go back even further, the decrease is far greater. So what I want to state now and make sure it's clear, and as Dr. Zaga said, there's only 20 some odd kids so far from the Station Village development, and that is well over half complete. That projects to less than 40. It's very early to project Ronson. There's less units there. We don't know yet because not that many units are open, but the point is anything we have done with redevelopment and development has not and will not produce a substantial number of school children that the district cannot handle. 757 less than 12 years ago. There would have to be far more development than we're planning on now for us to achieve that kind of number. And if you, as I said, if you go back even further, we can handle 1,000 more students compared to what it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So It's very important because it'll be said in the next 47 weeks that the redevelopment in the town is causing a problem for the school system. It is not. It clearly is not. Not when there's 757 students less than there was when we took office. And by the way, kids shouldn't be treated like they're toxic waste. If there's kids in our apartments, there's kids in our houses, we will embrace the kids, we will educate the kids, and we'll give them the best education possible. But regardless, redevelopment has not and will not produce an impact on the school district. And with all the things that we've done, I think the partnership has been terrific. So I want to thank the school board for that. We have been kicking around a bunch of ideas for other school projects. We're thinking possibly that there would be a referendum next year. Once these projects get finished, we really don't want to start something new until Ross Street and Woodbridge Middle get done. But it's pretty clear that with the board really, in conjunction with the town, have to consider things with possibly School 14. The School 4 and 5 is now the second oldest school in the town, and it's kind of like Ross Street. It's concrete. It's very not a new school. Let's face it. So we were thinking about with the project that we're doing over at the developmental center, which we should own very shortly, that we could perhaps dedicate some land there. And some land that we're buying, and some land on the front and Rahway Avenue toward potentially a new School 4 and 5. Everybody on the board has always talked about connecting School 22 with all the different pods, like was done in School 25 in 2003 with that referendum. So we're strongly considering partnering again with the board on some other serious capital projects going into the next decade, I guess. So something maybe March or June of 2020. We'll work with you on all those different details and come up with a plan like we did the last time. That referendum passed 3.5 to 1, and I'm sure everybody right now would be very happy with the progress that has been made there. Speaking about the way we paid for those projects, which is our town payments in lieu of taxes, this year in the budget we have $14 million in payments from the payments in lieu of taxes. A lot of people think that tax abatements mean these developers don't pay taxes. That is not right. The CPV project, the power plant, is paying us $115 million over 30 years. That's why we did that last round of projects, because of that CPV power plant. We now have PSE&G, which just came online with a power plant in July. CPV is looking at a second one. They're working through the market and all the different regulations that they have to follow. There's several different warehouse projects on the horizon. Probably within 4 years, the town could look to be collecting $30 million a year from pilot payments. That's more than we get in state aid from New Jersey. So it will be our second biggest source of revenue. It is taxes. It's a payment in lieu of taxes because it's not calculated the same way taxes are calculated on the value of your property. It's calculated different ways, but we do get a lot of money from these projects. Any downtown development will pay us a lot of taxes. The Station Village project, when it's fully complete, will pay over $1.5 million a year in taxes. Bronson will pay over $1 million in taxes. All these projects pay a substantial amount of taxes to the town. And we, as we all know, for many years have dedicated a percentage of that toward the project with the Board of Ed. So I can't think of anything better. I think everybody should be thrilled with what's going on. But I just want to make it clear, because we'll hear a lot of this in the next 47 weeks, that these projects don't pay taxes and they cause a burden on the school system. These projects pay an awful lot of taxes and they have no burden on our school system, as you can see from the numbers. The numbers don't lie. $30 million in taxes and plenty of room in the schools for additional students if there are any. So far, Oak Tree School 29 has been great. We have a few issues with the church that we have to work out with regard to parking, but those are things we'll get through. We have a few things we have to work out with the fire company, but those are things we'll get through. I've been there several times. Miss Osborne's doing a phenomenal job. She's got 525 students. I don't know if it's your biggest grammar school, but if not, it's one of them. It's a great building. It's practically new. It was built in 1958, but renovated in 2018. It's practically new, and it's wonderful. We're using the building on weekends for basketball. We'll soon probably start to use it for other things like art and music classes and things like that. So once again, we own the building, you rent the building, but we basically work together like we do with everything else. Along those lines, the Cypress Recreation Center and the Our House Special Needs Program. Frankly, I wish we would have been further along with that, but with so much going on, we just haven't been able to get that done. But we had a terrific meeting 2 weeks ago with Julie and with Linda and some other people from your school system. And our goal is to turn that kitchen there into something very, very special for not only the adults that are there during the day in the Our House program that have aged out of your school system because they're over 21, but the RISE program and the other kids in your school system where they can have opportunities to work, to clean, to sell, to stock shelves, to do all kinds of different things. It's going to be a phenomenal program. And as I said, I wish we were further along, but we're not. But that will get going, and that'll be a fantastic opportunity for anyone old enough to, do some kind of work function from probably 16 to who knows how old, can have an opportunity there to become much more functioning members of society. Your RISE program is terrific. We've had kids from RISE in Town Hall. They've been at Wegmans, they've been at landscapers, they've been all kinds of different places. It's a wonderful program. Our House is a wonderful program, and we're going to combine them and really make Cypress something very special. It's working out great for the wrestlers. It's working out great for the cheerleaders. People come in that building and can't believe that we have a facility dedicated just for those two sports. So it's worked out great, and we look forward to a continued cooperation with you on that. And for the last item that we want to talk about, I'll turn it over to Carol Ehrlich and Mr. Bader to talk about what was formerly called Principal for a Day.
So the Principal of the Day program was the highlight of the MAC-E committee. The MAC-E, for those of you, I think you all know, that stands for the Mayor's Advocacy Committee for Education. And the best way we felt of advocating for the schools was to get the businesses into the schools. And so we created the Principal of the Day, where we would randomly assign a business to a school in the hopes of achieving relationships with the school and impressing upon the businesses how absolutely great our schools are, our staff is, and our students. And we achieved that goal. We had many businesses and schools that have relationships that formed that are still holding to this day, partnerships. But it was time to freshen up that program, and we decided to call it Business Discovery Day, and not do anything random, but to keep it to the middle school and the high school where they're starting to look at what their careers are going to be, and literally hook up the right business with the right class and the right students. So we've spoken to a lot of the businesses, and they're very excited about coming in and sharing what they do with the students. And I know Mr. Bader has spoken to the principals, and they had a great reaction, right?
Absolutely. We're really excited about continuing with a new and improved program. It will be more comprehensive. It will be more educational. We are focusing on older students who are closer to making those college and career decisions. And we plan on bringing in companies with multiple representatives so that school principals can place an accountant with a math class or an accounting course, a chemist with a chemistry class, a marketing person with an art or business course. So by bringing in a comprehensive team, students will learn more and connect the content they're learning during the day to relevant college and career experiences that they will be really faced with very quickly. So thank you, and we're looking forward to the program.
It's going to be a great program. Yeah. Thank you.
The only thing I'd like to add is, sorry, Dan.
No, go ahead.
The 350th anniversary, as you know, is this June 1st. We had started off last June 1st with a gala. We've had a whole host of events. The schools have totally embraced the whole concept of the 350th. Mr. Mitch and Vito Samaluka are heading it on our end with Brian Molnar in the Recreation Department. Mr. Sakadalo on your end has been great. I've been to School 26. I've been to Avenel Middle. So many other schools that are doing projects specifically with the history of Woodbridge in mind. And I think that's been terrific. And your schools have really embraced it, as have we. So we really want to thank you for that level of cooperation, which, we've come to expect. It's great working with all of you, and I hope you feel the same about working with us.
Thank you.
I did want to just add two things. Carol, and to John, how does the business get involved in the Business Discovery Day? Is there information that will be going out, or can they reach out to Town Hall or the school administration?
We'll be putting information out there, but if anybody wants to call me or Mr. Bader,
sure.
We'd love to have them involved.
Sure. Okay. Great. And the second point, as I looked in your direction, I caught Mr. Costi down there. To Mr. Treeblosser, I know Frank, Brian, many on this side of the aisle. Mr. Costi was the guy on the ground who took us around, gave us the tours, and answered our questions. So I think Mr. Treeblosser would agree with me. We want to thank you for all you did for us this past year since our last meeting in getting those buildings further along, particular St. Cecilia's, getting that ready for this school year. So I want to thank you, Chris. Thank you.
President Treeblosser, any comments from yourself or any of the board members?
Anybody on the board have anything to say?
Mr. President?
Mr. Molnar?
Just a couple things. First, the 350th, when we first formed the committee, I just want to thank Mr. Bader and Mr. Sacadato. I had a conversation with them both, and I'm just going to give you the heads up. Big anniversary's coming up, and let's really make the school system really get involved in this. And that's all you have to do is just give it to Mr. Sacadato, and he basically, by the time Mr. Mitch and Mr. Simaluka met with him, he already had a game plan in place on what the school district wanted to do. So I just want to give a big thank you to Mr. Bader and Mr. Sacadato. A couple things on the agenda tonight. To report on the student population. Listen, we always said as a board, if there's a student in town, living in town, we will educate that child, no matter where they live, where they come from. We would educate that child. One thing that the school district's been working hard on, and I know Mr. Small sitting across the way, he's our Director of Security and School Safety. We have been trying to crack down on illegal students in our district through address checks and investigating, and we have been making headway doing that. A couple years ago, we did a full-fledged re-registration. So I think in times like that, I think this board might even be considering that in the upcoming year, doing another full-fledged re-registration, because if you could catch, I think the last time, I don't know, was the number like 700 or something like that we caught just by doing a re-registration. I think it might have cost us $28,000, and I think 700 students dropped from our rolls. So I think it might be time for us to maybe do that again. I think the last time we did it might have been 2008 or 2007. So we almost had a whole class come through the cycle since the last time we did it. So if you're here legally and you're doing the right thing, we have no issue educating you. It's our pleasure to educate you. But if you're not doing it the right way, then it's not fair for everybody that are doing it the right way. So, and just on the Ross Street and the Woodbridge Middle, first a big thank you, Woodbridge Middle School, to the Township. At one of our board meetings, we did get a parent come up to the microphone and state that there were issues with the bathroom. I know we made a phone call over to the town, and the town lent us that trailer that we were able to use for the faculty, so that kind of alleviated the bathroom situation there. So thank you to the Township for that. And also for Ross Street, I mean, the project's flying. Do we have incentives built into that contract, or?
I don't think so.
Because, I mean, DOPCO's doing a fantastic job. I mean, I think when we went for the groundbreaking, they had the footing in for the foundation already, so they're really moving, so that's good. And just to the staff and to the faculty, to the parents, to everybody, it is construction. Thank you so much, for your patience. I said it on one of our meetings. It's kind of like if you do a demolition on your house or you put an addition on your house, certain things you're going to have to live with. We're going to do everything we can to minimize that. There are going to be some things that we don't foresee that we're going to have to react to, but just overall, I think everything's been good, and just thank you to everybody for their patience. So.
Anybody else on the board? If I may be so bold, first of all, I want to thank the board, the council, the mayor, Dr. Zega. One of the things I've noticed in being on the Board of Education is there's a lot of people in our community that don't recognize the value of our cooperation and our collaboration. I was just at a New Jersey School Board's finance symposium, and one of the things they brought up to reduce your budget is to work on joint services. And then they happen to reference Woodbridge Township. We are a benchmark in our state. And unfortunately, there are those in our community that don't recognize the value and the impact of how our collaborative working together, our understanding of one another, and our use of cross-utilization of employees, Mr. Costi, Mr. Small, how they work not only for the municipality, but they also are involved in the school. Mr. Small's experience in the municipality has been unbelievable in what he's been able to accomplish working and finding people. And I hate to use the word illegal because they're not illegal, but they are illegal in participating in our school district. He's bringing revenue back into the district by forcing people, legally of course, to pay for the services that they have taken from us unlawfully. The joint agreement that we have with the municipality has been so outstanding that it has provided us an opportunity to bring our district into the 21st century, which, by the way, we would probably have not been able to do had we had to worry about the minutia of maintenance, grounds, facilities, and things like that. So I just want to take this opportunity, and I know the public watches this station, and I want to make sure that everybody recognizes the few people that speak out against the value of this joint agreement have no understanding whatsoever of how important it is to the success of our community. So I just want to thank the council, the mayor, the Board of Education for recognizing the value of such an agreement. Thank you.
Mr. President, I just wanted, when I said students in our district illegally, what I meant were students who are not residents of Woodbridge Township that are coming to our schools. So thank you, and I just wanted to clarify that too for the record.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
President Meehan, yourself, comments, and from council?
Council, does anybody on the council have any comments?
Council President, just a couple members touched on. I just want to thank Mayor McCormick for elaborating on the enrollment and the pilot conversations, specifically with the Arts Village. I get a lot of questions regarding the children, the enrollment, the pilot. Our belief has always been we're not afraid of children. We embrace children. We love our children. We're going to educate our children no matter where they live. Unfortunately, some people like to skew the facts and don't offer the correct information. I think I heard once there's over 100 children from the Arts Village. I drive through the Arts Village daily through my course of my employment. I see maybe 2. So next time somebody says something about pilots or enrollment, I'm going to offer them to watch the first 20 minutes of this meeting, and hopefully they get a better understanding. So thank you.
Anybody else?
Council President, I just want to commend Dr. Vega, the administration, and the Board of Ed on the implementation of bringing us into the 21st century. I can say firsthand as a father, seeing my daughter come home with her Chromebook and begin her assignments and having her teacher interact with her, because she was able to, she said, Naya, I'm pleased that you've already started working on this ahead of time. And not only that, the teachers able to collect a lot of data on how long the students are spending on their projects, how long it takes them to answer questions, and then they can adjust their lesson plans accordingly. And the same goes for the iPads for the 8th grade students. Although I don't have any 8th graders, I will say that the feedback has been fantastic throughout the community. Regarding Ross Street School, I'm very pleased at Principal Tammy Giordano's transparency. She's been keeping us updated via social media. I get a post probably every 3 or 4 days, or at the minimum once a week, with the new development that's going on at Ross Street School, so I don't feel it necessary that I have to run down there to see the developments. I can see them right there on my phone or on my computer, and as she walks us through the project. So I do appreciate Ms. Giordano's keeping us surprised. Mayor, you know, it makes me proud to be a part of our council and team, to see how you've been able to utilize the pilot program to the advantage of our community, our school district, and our council. Years ago, we also had our, to your point, Mr. Treebweiser, about our collaboration, you know, when our custodians were faced with being outsourced. We were able to bring them in as township employees and keep them in the district. And I truly believe that a lot of our custodians are very, very appreciative of that, and so are our residents. So I just want to congratulate both sides of this. Although this is not a thing where we're patting ourselves on the back, this is to show the township that we are working together and that you do have elected officials that have pledged to make this community better. And in doing so, we do have to work together. And there are a lot of friendly faces on this side because we know we do a lot of good work, and I thank you for giving us the opportunity to do so.
Anybody else on council? I just want to thank Dr. Zega and Mayor McCormick for giving us an oversight of what we have done this past year, what we have to look forward to in the future. And we are really very fortunate. There's so many towns that don't get along, and there's so much interfighting. And here in Woodbridge Township, we're really blessed that we all get along, and we all want to do the right thing for our children, for our community. So thank you for being able to work so well with the council. We truly treasure your relationship.
Thank you, Madam President. Any other comments? No other comments. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.